Hi, and welcome to Australia's first Let's Talk Tiny Houses podcast. My name is Christine, and ever since laying eyes on my first tiny house, I wanted to know more about the movement, the lifestyle, the communities, and most of all, how I can go tiny. While on my tiny journey, gathering information and meeting amazing like-minded people, I started thinking, apart from my business, how could I contribute back to the movement? Then I was introduced to podcasting, and that was my light bulb moment. I'm so thrilled that through this podcast, I am able to bring you an amazing cast of co-hosts who all bring their own unique skills, knowledge, and advice to each episode. All of us are extremely passionate about the tiny house movement and want to share our experience, expertise, and enthusiasm with our listeners. Each week, we will bring you a special guest interview or particular hot topic discussion that relates to tiny living for your listening pleasure. Okay, let's jump in and find out who we have with us this week. Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Let's Talk Tiny Houses. Hope everyone's well. I'm so excited to have our special guest with us this week, April Whiston from Cabin Connect. Now, I'm really excited to introduce our tiny house listeners to this niche, unique market that April has developed. So Cabin Connect, which she was the founder of, is Australia's leading online marketplace for buying, selling and browsing tiny homes, tiny houses, lifestyle homes and cabins. Now, it's not just secondhand options that they have available. They have a comprehensive service, and it involves new builds, transportation, finance and insurance. So we have lots to get through in this episode, and I know it's just our listeners are just going to really love everything. So let me introduce you to April. April, how are you?
Hello, thank you for having me today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. So yes, we crossed paths probably about 6 weeks ago, and it's fantastic. It's an online marketplace, so it's cabinconnect.com.au, and it's a totally niche market that you have, and it's perfect for our tiny home people who would like to sell their tinies and who are looking to buy. So that's a little brief outline of it. Could you give us the real juicy info on it, and a little bit about yourself as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. So Cabin Connect started off when we were going through the global financial crisis. So it's quite ironic actually, because now we're going through another, global crisis with coronavirus, and we're really starting to pick up pace now, which is fabulous. I, for those listeners, I also own a very large holiday park on the Murray River on the border of New South Wales and Victoria. And that's where I got introduced to the concept of cabins. Even though my grandparents, when I was growing up, they had an on-site caravan and annex. We used to frequent that. And I joined the park when I was 23. So up until I was about 17, my grandparents had a van and annex. Yep. And then I had a break for probably 6 years, and then I came in as a park manager of our very large holiday park. So at the end of the GFC, I found myself with 65 out of 330 cabins for sale because people couldn't afford to keep them. They couldn't afford to pay their site fees with them located in the park. And I was like, how am I going to sell these things? Because it doesn't look good for the park if you've got a really high number of cabins for sale on the sales list. And I also didn't want to use eBay. And Facebook was sort of not really it for that purpose at that point in time. There was no such thing as Facebook Marketplace. Gumtree was clunky as. And so I thought, well, I'm going to make my own platform. And so I had never built websites before. And I decided, no, I'm going to navigate this. So I started building my own website in a platform called Wix. Which is a free platform. It's great if anyone's sort of learning. You can play around and you can really set up a test pilot. And so that's what we did. We set up a test pilot for a platform, and we used that within our caravan park exclusively. No one else used it for 3 years. And so we tested it to see how effective it was for us and what sort of traffic we got to the website in terms of Google Analytics, how it was effective for us selling cabins, and how it increased the price that we were able to sell cabins for. Then 2 years ago, I thought we need to open this up to other people. It's working well for us. It's time for me to step out. So I stepped and I resigned effectively from my role as general manager of our holiday park. And I stepped into taking on other parks to use our platform, and we started to expand. So within the first 12 months, we had 25 other parks use our platform. Wow. And I thought, oh, this is good, you know. So we decided that, okay, we can't keep using the Wix site. Doesn't have the search capabilities, the filters, mapping, the things that we wanted. So then we went with an agency. We built the first version in WordPress, and it worked, but it was still not exactly what we wanted. We still got loads of listings and we did really well. And then only a week ago, we launched what we call Cabin Connect 2.0. So we now have a full-time web developer who works with us on our team. So we're a team of 4, and we work to try and build. We've worked really hard to build this platform to be suitable for the market, and we've expanded it not to just park cabins and vans. We now have a huge range of tiny houses and also lifestyle homes. So those homes, which we commonly call manufactured home estates, they are now in our platform too. So we've broken it up into 3 distinct categories, and tiny houses is one of those, and we just absolutely love them. We can't get enough of them. They're so cute. They look so great on Instagram feed, and we just love it. So it's great to bring them in. So the purpose of it is that when you own something like a tiny house, it's an asset and it's worth money. And a lot of these are worth, $100,000, if not more. And you don't want to sell $100,000 plus asset on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or Gumtree. And it doesn't fit the criteria for realestate.com or domain because there's no land included in the sale. It's not truly real estate. And so I thought, this is where we're going to play. And so we've built this platform. It's very niche, but it's a growing space in Australia. It's huge overseas in the US and the UK and Europe. So that's where we're planning to go next, if we get there with coronavirus. But it's exciting. It's great.
It is. It is very exciting. And I think what it brings to someone who's looking to buy or sell, it brings a lot of credibility, a lot of confidence, and security as well. Because, like you say, they are assets, and it's also it's been someone's home, and tiny homes are different to your regular size home. You are in every little piece of that home, so you want to make sure you can pass that on to someone with confidence, and the person buying it has confidence in what they're buying as well. And that comes from where they buy it from. So, like you say, Facebook Marketplace and Gumtree, they have their place. But a professional platform like Cabin Connect is just exactly what's needed.
Yeah, one of my biggest focuses for this, because I've obviously been in the caravan park space as a park leader or as an industry leader and as park owner for quite a long time. And what we call the annual site division of the park sector is a forgotten space. However, it drives huge amounts of revenue into the industry. And I really want to bring a next level of professionalism to this space. And the same with the tiny homes, the same with the lifestyle community. Why should we not be represented on the same platform as realestate.com, domain? These are the big places. Like, why not? It's just as important. The assets are just, as you said, just as loved, just as well built. So we want to represent them on a professional platform that increases the reputation of this, and also increases the awareness to the wider community that this is an option that you've got.
Yes. Yeah, totally. And I think with with you stepping into the tiny house market, I think what you'll do is help with that, just putting that more credibility behind us for getting all our council approvals and everything like that, that we're all, on the great mission to have happen, that these aren't just, a lot of the times I find that people who aren't fully aware of the tiny house community, they're thinking, oh, they're just kind of like hippie dwellings, or they're like, well, you're just an adult in a big cubby. What's happening? It's like, no, like, people in these communities they actually have the option to go and buy a big mansion or to buy this tiny and invest into this lifestyle and really take it on. So it is exactly like you say, they're exactly the same, and it's just giving that credibility and to people who are looking from the outside, like, what are they doing in there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I agree 100%. And the tiny house movement, I believe, is really going to expand. I used to say over the next 10 years, but I actually believe it's going to be much faster than that, especially now with coronavirus, because, I work with a lot of businesses and they're all now looking at, oh, can I get a tiny house to use as my music studio? Can I get a tiny house to use as my home office? Can I get a tiny house as an extra bedroom? All of these things that they once never thought of, but now you can't go to the workplace, or you don't want to go to the workplace, you want to work from home 3 days a week. These now provide a really neat solution for people that can look fabulous in their backyard and, serve so many purposes as a second sleep out, as a home office, as a music room. So they're really such a great solution for so many people.
Yeah, so versatile. And it's funny you bring that up because we were speaking with Leon King from Rolling Homes Australia yesterday.
Yeah, I've been speaking to him on Instagram actually recently.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I want them to list on Cabin Connect so we can showcase their amazing products. So
yeah, I know. Aren't they? They're just gorgeous.
They're so awesome.
They?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, he was saying that he totally can see this need for home offices now. And that's one of the big things that they're focusing on now, that to get that market. And they are just so cute. And I just love their whole vibe and whole aesthetic as well. And it's just lovely. And when we saw them, going a bit off topic here, but we saw them at the St. Ives Carnival, and they really stuck in our minds. Just as soon as you walked into the wagon, it was like, can we keep it? And he said to us that he was having trouble getting people out of it. He's like, hey, come on, people have to go in. But anyway, yes, definitely get in touch with Leon. He's fantastic. Leon and Carla's his wife. She's lovely as well. But
and that's why. So in the new version of Cabin Connect, we call it Cabin Connect 2.0, but that's just in-house talk. It's just still called cabinconnect.com.au. We now have a free basic listing. So we've got this free basic listing for anybody to use. So if you're a manufacturer and you have, maybe 10 designs on your plan, put them up, get them out there. We also have a paid featured listing, which is $97. And that just includes like extra Facebook advertising, emailing, some sales flyers, those sorts of things. And for those who we really recommend that, we just tell them, oh, we think that you'd benefit from extra promotion because your product's so great, or you want to sell quickly, let's give it extra promotion. But ideally right now, we're just trying to build our database and range. So the more listings we have, the more credible our platform becomes, the more industry awareness we have, and the more all of the manufacturers and all the people in the communities, the better they're going to do. So that's our biggest focus right now.
Yeah, totally. And actually that leads us in quite well to just explain a little bit, if someone does have a tiny house that they're wanting to sell and they approach you, what's the process that goes from there?
Yeah, it's super easy. So all they need to do is go to cabinconnect.com.au. They just need to click the Sell Now button, follow the links. It's all online. They don't even need to speak to us. They can load up all their photos, information. They get their own account on the platform so that they can go in and tweak photos, change it, reduce price, whatever they want to do. And the benefit of doing this is you get your own unique domain name. So, you know, you get your own unique domain that you can use to share on your Facebook page. You can use it on emails. You can put it on your Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you want to put it, Twitter. And you can grab people from all audiences to send them to your listing on Cabin Connect. Once the listing's on Cabin Connect, we don't take any commissions. All of the inquiries go direct to you. We see them in the back end, but they go directly to you. And the volume of traffic that our website gets is insane. So we will be seeing easily over 500,000 views a year to our website. And sometimes we look at our website and think we're under attack because we've had so many, like from hackers or something like that. But we're like, oh my God, we've had so many listings we've had so many page views in the last 24 hours. What happened? And then we look at, what did we post on social media, or what new listing did we have come in? Some of our listings will receive over 1,500 page views in the first 24 hours of being live. It's really quite insane. And so that's why we think everybody, regardless of what you're selling, whether it's tiny home, cabin, residential lifestyle community, as a basic, you should take the free listing. Because even if you're on Facebook Marketplace or these groups, you need to be here, because we've got around about, at the moment, I think we've got about 400, I'd have to check the database, about 400 active buyers right now who are on our weekly email list, because we email them weekly with new listings. Mm-hmm. And they love it. They're just waiting for the subscription email to come out every week so they can see what's new and what's happening. And they have a really great open rate too with all those emails that we send. So it's good. It's quite an engaged platform.
Yeah. But I love that in your blurb that you have buying, selling, and browsing, because I think that's really important.
Oh yeah, who doesn't want to see inside somebody else's home? Who doesn't want to see how other people style their tiny house or their cabin, or like everybody wants to see that, and like see inside other people's parks or farm blocks or wherever it's located. Like, it's just like a great pastime, is to see and be inspired by how someone's chosen to present their photos and their asset that they're selling. I think that's a fun hobby to do. I like it. It's like people watching, but just next level.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love people watching as well. I used to, when I worked in the city, and lived in the city, I used to walk in, and sounds terrible, but I'd be walking along, if someone had their door open, I'd be like, oh, how have they decorated that? And I'd like do these sneaky little looks. I'm like, this is wrong, Christine, but wow, I love it in there. On to the next one.
And it's so lovely to see how people present things, like in our park. I've sold some of these cabins multiple times because the owners, they turn over. They might stay there for 3 or 4 years and then they upgrade, or they, life changes. And it doesn't matter how many times I've sold it, like whoever's been in it has made it their own, whether they've painted or they've got different linen or styling or artwork or whatever. So I know the layout, but the way that it's presented is different every single time. So
exactly. Sometimes people might not be thinking of actually upgrading or selling, but because we are interested in looking around, that browsing, that could tip someone over and, actually, let's do it. And also, because these are smaller dwellings, some people might not just be buying one, as in if you were buying a normal home, one, you might be buying maybe 1 or 2 for mum and dad, maybe kids, or whatever the situation is. So the browsing is so important, and lots of fun for everybody.
Yeah, and the diversity is huge. It's great to keep in tune with the platform, because like 1 minute we might have something come up from like those rolling homes, and the next you might have this immaculate build from YMH, or portable buildings by design, or like the range is so different. And because I've been in this space now for 12 years, I can pretty much walk into any cabin. I'm not as good with tiny houses because I'm more new to that section, but I don't even need to see the branding or the compliance plate to know who built it, because they've all got their own unique style. I'm like, oh, this is a Rainbow, this is a Jayco, this is a, YMH, because you just know how they've been built. And that's a really important factor, because every manufacturer has their own style. And so you never know when a new manufacturer is going to come, or when a manufacturer is going to produce something new and out of the box that you haven't seen before. So it's great to keep browsing, and yeah, it's good. Keep yourself in the game.
Yeah. And have you found at all, like I know with, like I've got a mini. So, you know, there's massive community with minis and we all love minis. So anything mini that comes out, we're like, oh. Do you find that if someone has bought a Jayco, they're part of that family and they'll usually tend to keep going with Jaycos?
Not so much with cabins. Not so much with the big commercial builders. So some of the big commercial builders with cabins are your likes of Jayco. Not as much. We have an incredible private builder up here in Echuca. What's the name of his business? We just call him Chummy because he's incredible. Rich River Mobile Homes, that's the name. So I truly believe that he builds the best cabin in Australia. They are insanely incredible. If you have a look on our Facebook cover, you will see the video of the cabin that he's built. Double story, 5 metres wide, or maybe more, 5.5 metres wide, 19 metres long, steel frame, flood engineered. They're insanely amazing. So we've sold a couple of these. We've got 8 of these in our park, which are annual sites, and they sell from anywhere between about 350 to 480,000, and that's for an on-site cabin, which is insane.
Yeah.
Some of them are 3 bathrooms, bars, outdoor kitchens. So you know, that sort of level of inspiration is incredible. Those people are quite loyal to that builder, but he's a very low volume niche market. So I see more so much that people stick to that sort of thing. However, you do have in the park space, you do have parks who build alliance with a brand. So in parks, they will buy the same cabin multiple times in terms of the park owner buying lots of Jayco, YMH, whatever. And they do become quite loyal to them because the cabins are not always just for residential purposes. Cabins can also sometimes be for camp kitchens. They can also be for games rooms, gyms, you know, offices, toilet blocks, all of those things. And a lot of parks these days are opting to have everything relocatable, especially if you've only got a leasehold over the park, you don't own the freehold. And especially if your park is owned, like it's council land and you're leasing off council, because you don't want to put full-time, like permanent structures in there, because when your lease finishes, you've got nothing to take and sell. So it's much better to have relocatable structures, which is where I see tiny houses coming in to the park space, which is really exciting. In my park, I've got 8 sites that I want to actually put tiny houses on. So that will be really cool. I've got one of the builders who I work with is L&D Tiny Houses. He's a partner of us with Cabin Connect, and we've already had a chat about this. So we can have them on site. We can rent them out as holiday rental, but they can also be for sale. So if we sell it, we just sell it and then get a new one. And so we keep turning them over. So this excites me for the space, because what it means is as a park owner, you're not having an asset sit there for 10, 15 years that's slowly depreciating in value. You might have an asset sit there for 6 months and sell it and then get a new one. So you've always got fresh stock. And you're making money on the sale as well. And you're getting more tiny houses into the community and letting people have an experience of renting a tiny house before they might buy it. So that's exciting.
And that's a huge thing that we push in the tiny house community, that before you get your tiny, at the bare minimum, go stand in one. But if you can stay in one, like just to get the complete feel. So that's fantastic. And the first thing that popped to my mind then when you said, you know, you can turn them over, because the industry is continually changing and such a fast rate at the moment, you will have the latest what's going on in the tiny house.
We can change it up. We can do different brands. We can do different things. We can put what's on trend. And the good thing about it, I know you mentioned at the start in regards to permits and stuff. I mean, I've had loads of experience with council permits, building compliance and non-compliance, is that if they remain on the trailer on the powered site within the caravan park, you don't need to declare that as a permanent dwelling. So you don't need a permit. It just stays there. You sell it. Like, it's very easy for a park to have tiny houses, as opposed to installing a cabin on footings and tie downs and, you know, everything else that you've got to do. So it's a good option.
it's a shame that Patty wasn't able to be with us today, because Patty lives in a tiny at a caravan park in Brisbane. And
yeah, awesome.
she's the only one there. So she's the real, everyone has to come and see the tiny house when they
love it.
anybody there. But yeah, it's so awesome. And she's got a fantastic garden that she's made there. And so, she has grand plans for the future, but it really got her into her tiny, and she was able to, start her tiny journey. I think she said the other day it was about 2.5 years ago, and I can't believe it, because I would have met her not long after, probably about 6 to 8 months after she was in her tiny. So I can't believe we've known each other for that long. But yeah, fantastic. So how awesome! I think that's really great that those 8 sites that you're thinking of having at your park.
Yeah, look, I think it's also a great point of difference. I don't know many parks that have got tiny houses currently. So for us, and those 8 sites are right at the front of our park too. So I was looking at them going, they don't really make great caravan sites. How can we use them? But we'll be able to really style them up. So I plan to have the concrete slab for them to sort of be on, so that they're on a solid base, and then have sort of like some landscaped fire pit sort of patio area, so that people can really have that beautiful experience and their own space, their own privacy within their stay. So yeah, it'll be really great. Can't wait.
Yeah, that's awesome. And a great draw card from the road as well, so people going past is like,
absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, you want to have a point of difference in anything that you do.
Well, exactly. So, as you mentioned before, you came into the game quite young. Was it 22 or 23?
I was 23 when I met my husband and got drawn into becoming a park manager. I was a nurse at the time. I'm still a registered nurse, but I was working at the Alfred, and my husband said, I run a caravan park with my dad up in Echuca, and I was like, where? So that was 12 years ago. Yeah.
That's amazing. So a little side note to Cabin Connect is your other business, which is Boss Lady Brain.
Yeah, so Boss Lady Brain, it's cool, it's fun. Boss Lady Brain evolved probably 2 years ago. The purpose of me, I started studying coaching, like the psychology of coaching, and I started to be a better business owner, because I have like 22 staff in my caravan park, and I wanted to be a better leader for them. So I thought, I need to learn more about this coaching style of leadership. So that's what got me into it. And then I got into it and I was like, oh, this is like a job. Like, you can do this and have a business. And so then I thought, why not start a third business? Because I'm not busy enough. And anyway, we started Boss Lady Brain, started building clients, and now we've got quite an established agency. We work with a number of different clients, work with a number of caravan parks, tradies, swim school instructors, music therapists. I always say I work with bricks and mortar businesses. So that's who I work with. And we work with them to grow and refine their business. Obviously, right now during coronavirus time, we have been super busy helping people to navigate JobKeeper, cash flow, staff management, marketing, reinventing, adapting to online. So we've been busy with that. And we also build websites, and we do social media strategy, content creation. So we really are a dynamic, we call ourselves a consulting agency, but we also do media and website building. So yeah, it's exciting. It's good.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, even for myself, so my business, OCD, Organising, Cleaning, Decluttering Specialist, I haven't been able to go into people's homes. So it was it was already happening that I was going to more online options and workshops and things like that. But it just it was like, okay, full speed ahead. We must do this. So it's been positive and negative, but I would say more positive for opening up this kind of forced growth for a lot of businesses, but also like for myself, it was going to happen. It was just going to happen at a slower rate. So it's happened quicker, which is great. Or for people who it wasn't an option, and now it's opened up so many new doors. So That's awesome
Yeah.
that you're able to
No,
help.
it's been really great. And I've seen even with the Cabin Connect partners that we have on board, they've even said to me, oh, April, we used, they're tradies. So they're like, oh, we used to have to go and do the color consultations, and everything was face to face. And now they're doing color consultations via Zoom call. They're doing all of their meetings via Zoom call. They're a little bit clunky with the tech, but they're getting better.
Yeah.
And I think it's great, because I think in the long run, if these trade-based industries can adapt to the technology, it's going to save them so much time, which means they've got more time to make money doing what they can do well. So
Yeah.
I think if any of your tiny home people are not utilizing the tech, if they don't have a website that's working for them 24/7, in our agency we have a saying that your website should be your best performing employee, and it should bring in the most sales and convert the most leads. If it's not doing that and it's just like a glorified business card, we need to do something about that, because it should be working for you. And that's what we do. And we've done, I don't know how many website audits in the last, week or week and a half. I think my web developer is like under the pump. He's just finished the new version of Cabin Connect. And I'm like, oh, by the way, we've got these 12 clients that we need to do websites for. He's like, yep, no worries. So yeah, it's good.
Well, that's always the best problem to have in business, isn't it? I'm too
Yeah,
busy.
absolutely. I'd prefer to be too busy than not. So
Totally.
yeah.
So I noticed as well you have a YouTube channel for Boss Lady Brain. So
Mm-hmm.
people can go on there and it's not necessarily that they need to make a booking or anything with you, but you're educating via YouTube as well.
Yeah, we do a lot. I do a lot of stuff online via Zoom. So I have clients like in New Zealand, all over Australia. So I've been using Zoom notoriously for a long time. And a lot of the time, I run a elite mastermind program where I've got 10 businesses in that program who train with me for 12 months. And they said, oh, April, we need help with like MailChimp. We need help with this. So I was like, let's just do a group training online. So anytime I do a group training online, I just record it and put it on YouTube for everyone to have. Like, why would I not? So there's loads of those resources on our YouTube channel that people can access and just watch and use for free. Usually they're like a basic introduction, so an introduction to MailChimp or something like that. If people haven't used that email database before, they can just learn a little bit about it and then have a go.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's so good. So I know a lot of it's been common with real estates haven't been able to be conducting open home.
Yeah.
Have you found with your listings at the moment, have people been coming in doing virtual tours for their potential buyers?
No, it's been
No.
really interesting actually, because initially when we were hit by coronavirus, I thought, oh my gosh, we're going to be so busy with Cabin Connect. And our listings have done the opposite. Our listings have come to an absolute halt. So we used to get maybe 15, 20 listings a week. Now we're like, no one's selling. We've had a few tiny homes come through the last 3 days, which is good. But I think a lot of people have been they're almost like frozen, because I think that they're like, well, I don't want to sell if I don't have to sell. And also all of the caravan parks are closed. And so nobody can take people through, and the staff aren't here to do that. And if you're living in a residential community, that's your home, you definitely don't want to sell that right now. So I think what we'll probably see is an influx of listings around the August, September time, when people have given it time to sort of digest what's happened. They'll know by then if they're going to go back to their job that they had before coronavirus. And then they'll be able to make a decision of whether they can afford to keep, whether it's a cabin, on-site van, tiny house, whatever it is they've got. So I predict that we'll probably see an increase of listings around that time. As opposed to now, because they don't want to sell right now. And if they're in financial distress or financial hardship, most of the parks have given leniency on that. So, and they're usually 3 months fees in advance. So they've got that 3 months fees in advance that they can use at this point in time to sort of, tie them over before the park says, you're too much in arrears, we're going to have to sell your asset. So so that's what I sort of see.
Yeah, well, I think that's totally true, and we'll be over our winter season as well. So I know up here in Queensland, we're allowed out tomorrow.
Yeah, I think in New South Wales we're allowed to have 2 visitors visit us tomorrow. So
Ooh.
I've already booked in a
Party.
tutor for my children. I'm like, you need to catch up on some school.
Yeah. Well, that's one big thing. I had a friend of mine who used to be a client and we've become friends, and she had actually at the start of the year taken her children out of school for 2 years. She was
Mhm.
homeschooling till April, and then they were going to sail around the world for the
Oh,
rest of that
wow.
2 years. So she's kind of been in a really great position where she already had all the homeschooling sussed
Yeah.
out and nutted out. So she's been able to help friends with, going into the homeschooling now. But I said, I bet tutors are becoming really popular, even over Zoom, but even when kids are able to go back to school, this might open up some real flexibility with educating children.
Mhm.
And who knows what could happen? Like, kids could
Yeah.
go, like, I know this is a bit far-fetched, but who knows? Kids could go to school for like 3 days a week and then be with a tutor at home the other 2 days or something like that. I think it's really,
Yeah. I think it's really interesting because we actually pulled our kids out of school 2 weeks before we had to. And we did that because my grandparents live with us and they were like vulnerable. So I kept them home. And at that point, homeschooling from the school was not a thing. So I was just like, look, we're just doing our own thing. We're doing reading, writing. I was finding worksheets online. And that was actually easier than what's happening now. So what happens now is the school dictate to you what you have to teach them.
oh,
And that becomes quite stressful because the children have no choice. And then the parents got to understand it before they can teach it to the kids. And sometimes I see the math stuff and I was pretty good at maths, but I'm like, oh, or I'm like, oh, proper noun, I haven't learned this since I was in grade 1. Like what, so
yeah,
it is a little bit challenging. But look, the kids are adapting well. And I think that, yes, we will see, more tutors, probably more of this Zoom learning, more Zoom music lessons, these sorts of things
yeah,
in the future.
yeah, yeah. I think there's a lot of positives that have come from it, and enabling big organizations have sort of been forced to have their staff at home and realizing, well, things can actually have function from home. So I think
Yeah.
it's going to a lot more flexibility for a lot of people, I think, are going to come of this because we've been forced to experience online whatever and realize, we can actually do it and it's not so bad, and oh, cool. Yeah, so
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with all of these, commercial properties that people all of a sudden are like, I don't really need. I think the hot seat places will do well because people will probably book the meeting rooms to meet with their staff a couple of mornings a week and then they'll go home and
yeah,
save. Like commercial rents are ridiculous. I know I had one of my clients they were a yoga school. Their commercial rent was something like $77,000 a year. And I'm like, how can anyone sustain that? That is
yeah,
ridiculous. And that is not abnormal for a commercial rent. And this is why I think the tiny house sector offers such a unique option. If you can
mm,
have a tiny house in your backyard, a beautiful little path up to it at the back, whether you're a hairdresser, a masseur, a
mm,
chiropractor, whatever it is you do, you can have that. You're not paying rent. Even if you were to pay $50,000 or $60,000 for what you needed, it will save you so much money. And then when you're finished, it's an asset. You can just sell it to somebody else. So,
yep,
and it's a tax write-off because it's used for
exactly.
work. So win-win.
Win-win indeed. Oh, well, it's so awesome, so awesome. So thinking ahead to later in the year, let's say November, and
Mhm.
we've come out the other side, and
Yep.
the market's picking up. Um,
Mhm.
what else is on the cards for Cabin Connect and yourself?
Yeah, so Cabin Connect, we're continuing to grow and expand. We really want to push in. We're slowly pushing into the Queensland market. We've just tapped into the Northern Territory market, which is great. WA is a little bit slower. So if you're in WA, please get on board. We have people wanting listings in WA. We have more people wanting listings than who are listing. So we need to flip that. We need to have a number of listings. So our focus right now between now and the end of the year is just to grow the platform. We want thousands and thousands of listings on there for people to see and to learn about and to buy. So our focus is that for the rest of the year. We were heading out to some conferences, but that cannot happen now. So we're looking at potentially hosting our own virtual conference, which would be really great. It's a bit scary. It's a lot of work involved, but that could be a potential between now and the end of the year, like a full day or full weekend virtual conference where we host it, so we can talk about cabins, tiny houses, residential lifestyle communities. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So we're looking at that. And then we do have a big focus to really conquer the Australian market over the next probably 24 months and become one of the leading websites in this space. Or we want to be the leading website in this space. And then we want to use that to replicate to go into the US. So within the US, obviously Australia's got 25 million people. The US have got around 330 million people. So it's, 10 to 11 times the size of Australia, and tiny houses and mobile homes are huge over there. So we've already got a lead in with a company over there called Sun Communities, who have 380 parks. And we're hoping that we can at least replicate our site and test pilot with their company for a while. But that's our goal, is to grow big in Australia and then go international from Australia, so that we have effectively an Australian company exporting, online services that are a benefit to everybody.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So,
Did you happen to see the event that was held last weekend with Zach Giffen from Tiny House Nation? They did a
No, I
weekend.
didn't see that. I wish I had it. Send me the link.
I will. Yeah, that was a whole weekend event that they did. So perfect.
Yeah,
you're definitely onto something. And I know they had so much interest in it. So
yeah,
definitely get yours going.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. It's like, it's really great, but this week is gone, and I'm like, I was supposed to plan that this week. Where's the time gone? So we will definitely look into it, and I think it'll be really great. And I think it'll open an opportunity for people who couldn't before go to conferences because they either couldn't leave their caravan park, they couldn't afford to get there, whatever it is. It's online. You can join in for the morning and then go in the afternoon, or you can stay for the whole time. It's totally up to you. So that's what we're sort of looking at.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, such exciting times. 2.0 is out there, and everyone.
Yes.
So the best way to find you is cabinconnect.com.au, and then all your socials as well. But all the listings are on there. So if anyone has any questions, they're able to email off us.
Yeah, they can get us really easily. Cabinconnect.com.au. They can list. They don't even need to contact us. They can just list straight away on the website. Create accounts all for free. List your cabin there. Also look at the industry database. It's really great too. So if there are a manufacturer listening to this and they want to feature on the industry database, that's a really great platform. So we have cabin manufacturers, tiny house manufacturers, we have insurance agencies, we have transporters. So we have some really good options there where we want to build a database where we have credible people. So not anybody is allowed on there. We have turned some people away because we didn't like how they did business. But if you want to be in a credible platform where other people can find you and where we can recommend you, because we only recommend people who are partners with us because we want to know them.
Yes.
But we get leads through all the time for people wanting things, and then we need to navigate, well, where are you? How far are you from that manufacturer? Do they manufacture what you want? So I would encourage people to, look at their industry database and might help them. They might need something on there. And follow us on socials and share the message.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, April. It's been just fantastic having this conversation with you. We've had it in the works for, like I said, probably about 5-6 weeks or so, and I've been really looking forward to it. It's been popping up on my little coming up. I'm like, oh, cool, can't wait. And can't wait to see what happens with yourself and Rolling Homes. They're so awesome. So I think you'd be a fabulous partner.
I hope that they list. If they're listening and you haven't listed, I'm sure they would have listed by the time they listen to this. But no, they're just, and anything innovative, we're into anything innovative in this space about sharing the message, sharing cool design. I'm really lucky. I play in a cool space, I just advertise tiny homes and cabins that look great. it's fun. So yeah, that's what we do. And also, people who've got videos, share it with us. So we've got that content. You know, we're an agency. We're always looking for content. So if people have got professional videos or anything like that, we have a YouTube channel. So we would love to share those things on our YouTube channel. So please share everything with us.
Ah, awesome. And we love sharing. So yes, I'm sure people will. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll sign off for now, but we'll keep in touch and we'll stay up to date with everything that's going on with Cabin Connect and also Boss Lady Brain. I've been following it. I think it's awesome. I love it's as an entrepreneur myself, seeing other entrepreneurs and other people's ideas and just watching people flourish and other people helping others flourish. Like, I just love it. It's fantastic. So can never follow enough people who are doing that. It's fantastic. So we'll say goodbye for now, April, but it won't be forever.
No, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Wow, what a great episode. I would like to thank you for listening, and I really hope you enjoyed this week's discussion. I would like to now invite you over to our exclusive Facebook group, where you as our listeners will be able to interact with us, each other, see photos and additional extras that accompany each episode, and be the first to know what we have coming up. If there is a particular topic you would like to hear more about or someone you think we need to interview, please drop us a line at letstalktinyhouses@gmail.com or via our Facebook group. You can find this podcast series on iTunes, Spotify, or your favourite podcast app. And while you're there, please show your love by giving us a rating. Hopefully it's 5 stars. Our show notes will be available on Podbean along with any podcast corrections and amendments. The Let's Talk Tiny Houses podcast is brought to you by myself, Christine Murphy, and my business, OCD, Organising, Cleaning and Decluttering Specialist, which can be found on Facebook or through my website, ocdpro.com.au. I would like to thank all my co-hosts for their amazing contributions and Joanne Helder for editing all our audio and making us sound so fabulous. Until next week, please take care and enjoy yourself.